Shouts out Big Steve.
What's up? Big Brain MMA, UFC Vegas 101. We're back. Finally an official UFC breakdown. Clean slate. We're starting again. Right. And, because of that, I brought in a special guest to help me break down and make some profit. If not today, then for the month of January, very important. But the special guest is not here. So what I'm doing is I'm starting and he will just jump in when he jumps in. He has the invite. And, there's no time to waste, my friends. Lou Betcher, need Dogfather's Erst Devies plays. Yeah, he's probably just writing him down now, finalizing him. That's why he's taking his time. Subhuman, Gaucho, LOL. Yep. LOL indeed. Good start. Shady. Yeah. A few things there. So, yeah. Let's get it. Let's make some profit. Kiwi Brew. Here he is, the Bold Father. POV shot. As that was the point of view as I'm begging Dogfather to come on the show. Have to get on my knees and look up at him.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry.
That's all right. I've come to expect it.
Fashionably late.
Yeah, that's the thing, bro. That's the thing. I was hoping you'd be a bit more late, but yeah, that's fine.
What, like never show up late?
No, not that far, but
Close
how
enough.
did you do last year?
Not too bad. Like up 35,000, I think. Had a bit of a rough streak at the end with losing a couple decisions, which were big swings on pretty big bets, but overall not a bad year. Could have done better, especially at the end. I think I lost some of my risk management at the end, just because I was having a pretty good year up to that point. I was up like 50 grand going into like October, and then sort of just kind of ran off pretty poorly at the end of the year.
Cool. No, that's good, man. It's getting hard to bring on profitable people on the show. It's after last year, but
yeah, it seems like a lot of folks had rough years. I mean, I've tried to not have a single losing year gambling. I haven't had one thus far, just because I'm pretty selective and I never get too cute. So I think that kind of saves me in the long run. Yeah.
I don't think you should have a losing year. And no offense to anyone that's listening that's had a losing year. I think it's just you got 12 months to not have a losing year. You might have a couple of months. I had an awful August and like 4 break-even months. But then you just need, another 3. But yeah, that's good, man. That's good. We made similar.
I think one thing you do really well is adjust. So I think that's kind of what saved you last year. We both kind of were slamming under 1.5s for a while there, and then all of a sudden all the unders and under 1.5s just started being a money pit, and I think we both recognized really quick it was time to hop off.
Well, not really quick, unfortunately, but eventually, yes. If it was really quick, I would have lost a lot less money, but yes, adjusting is important. And a lot of dudes out there just like, this is my method. I've been doing this for 5 years. I don't want to change my method. It's like, you have to change your method, man. You have to adjust. It's the landscape of gambling is adjusting all the time. Your method is not like undefeated. Like
there's trends.
Exactly.
Every year there's trends, and you got to follow the trend. At some point.
Yeah, I wouldn't not overlook it, but yeah, just adjust. All right, Subhuman donated $20. What a nice guy. Thank you, boss.
Wow.
Subhuman. 18th of Jan, I'll sort you out. I put on a bet for him. I just need to transfer him some money back. But severe lack of lacking in. Yeah, word up, mother fluffers. Yeah, dog should consider some tattoos. I agree. I think that might toughen him up a little bit on his head.
I want them. I've actually wanted them. I just I can't with my job.
Yeah, well, I would start with the obvious one where they just do the dots, so it looks like you have hair, like you shave your head. I reckon that'll be your number one, and then go from there. Then just figure out all the, like the Mike Perry and all those after that. But that should be your number one tattoo. All right, let's get into it. I reckon 14 fights. It's not the best for betting, in my opinion. I reckon we just keep it to under 40 minutes. Everyone knows I threw it out there. So if we're yapping, you're gonna get to wrap it up, and let's get into it. Right. So first fight, short notice. Aliev versus Joe Solecki. Aliev is on short notice here. Old mate hasn't fought in years or more than a year. One of those obvious ones, right? Solecki's been grinded out before. He's a high-level submission guy. Aliev's never been submitted. He's a Daggy, or I would say a Tajikistan guy, but it's pretty similar to a Daggy dude, let's be honest. So will the same thing happen that happened in the Dawson fight? That's the noise for this fight. That's what everyone is talking about. I don't know. I feel like Solecki has better jiu-jitsu than someone like Rafael Alves. Alves, all he had is a guillotine. He doesn't really have anything else. And, he made Aliev go to his back and give up mount in round 3. I think Solecki has a much better guillotine. I think someone like Grant Dawson has elite jiu-jitsu, and he was happy just to give his neck and survive that tight guillotine attempt. Solecki has arm bars. He has back takes. I don't know. I'm not really feeling the parlay piece on Aliev, especially after a massive layoff. What do you? I will say, before you go on, I will say this card, massive unders that are tempting me, and massive underdogs that are not trustworthy that are tempting me, and I think some good live bets as well. Go on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Solecki's submission prop is probably going to end up being better than his money line, personally, because I don't see him winning a ton of minutes. So Aliev's a grindy wrestler, so I can see him getting Solecki the mat with his takedown defense. So, yeah, it's kind of how I'm leaning. Aliev's kind of, I don't know what to think of him yet. He's young, he's got really good cardio, relentless wrestler, could be improving his striking. Seems like a decent prospect. We'll see. But I'm not really a big Solecki guy. But he does have good jiu-jitsu, so if I if I feel like there's value on him, I feel like you're probably better off just taking a sub prop, in my opinion.
Fair enough. It's Aliev decision or Solecki sub or maybe the under a massive plus money.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Yeah, maybe Aliev could make him flake a little bit, but who knows? Especially with him on short notice and his cardio.
Yeah, I remember I played his under in a contender series because he was a decision machine and he was a similar price, and he just ran through that guy in one round with ground and pound. So maybe. I have to look into it some more though. Alrighty. Fatima Kline versus Dudakova. So this one I looked into a little bit better despite similar odds. And I will say I understand the odds. Fatima is the truth. Don't take too much into her short notice loss upper weight class against, one of the best ranked fighters at flyweight in Jasmine. And really hard to win a grappling fight against Jasmine. But she took her back a couple of times. She hit like arm drags and stuff. Like you can see how high level Fatima is. Victoria, she's actually good too. She's a prospect. She's 25. She had some hype on her, but the cardio is the issue here. She always slows down round 3. Yeah, and apparently she had staff twice now. One, I definitely know about the one against Jinyu Ferre, and she didn't get up in round 2, and then round 3, a lot better against Sam Hughes because she just looked to be blowing after round 1. So yeah, again, I can't get behind Dudakova because I don't know if she can put 15 minutes together where she doesn't slow down or whether she doesn't end up on her back or get her back taken. Kline, I've seen her go 5 rounds mauling chicks. She's got full camp now in a natural weight class. If anything, again, big money under, I'm tempted. Or maybe, preserve my profit and go with Kline round 3 maybe. Maybe Kline round 2. But I've seen her get some deep rear naked chokes in round 1, right? MMA Uncle Easy, I posted on his Twitter. He showed himself to be a bit of a casual with the regional female MMA. He didn't know who Kuzutina is, the GOAT, right? The LFA champion. He didn't know who Romero, the Invicta GOAT champion, was. But she almost submitted Kuzutoba and won. And then round 3, she almost submitted her as well. So that's what I'm thinking. Kline inside the distance, the unders, and potentially some live bets. What about you?
Yeah, Kline been running over bums like Andressa Romero and Kuzutina, But yeah, just an all-around pass fight. I mean, if I'm going to play an under, maybe Kline ITD, but it's probably going to be the same as the under. But it does seem pretty wide, but it's just kind of hard for me to give Dudakova much of a path because she's going to probably have to keep it on the feet, and or get on top. And I don't really see her having too much success with her cardio over 15 there. So not really any interest.
All right. This is a big one. This is one that I feel like I'll have a play on. And I've already done double the tape, and I feel like I need to do triple the tape. So I've got Magomed versus Lopes, and 2 contender series alumni, as that word goes. And yeah, a lot of people playing Gadzi to massive favorite now, past minus 200. And I've got some people, I think yourself might be interested in the dog, Lopes. It's a hard click. I get it. First time taping it, I'm like, all right, there's some things that Gadzi will have advantage over Lopes, the cardio, the speed, and whatnot. But he hasn't really covered himself in anything special. Magomed, like his best win is Ribeiro, which I think is what's behind this line. It's a mutual opponent. Ribeiro ran through Bruno Lopes as a huge underdog, and he made Magomed uncomfortable, right, on the feet. He hurt him with leg kicks, and he forced him to wrestle. And then rounds 2 and 3 was a little bit easier, other than almost getting guillotined by Ribeiro. But yeah, no resistance with the takedowns, and yeah, Magomed only covers when he wrestles. Up to the last 3 fights, all bums, all cans. This Malim guy, a little bit better than usual in Brave. Wrestled him, won a close decision, 29-28. Jose Medina, that was the only 30-27. Brenton Ribeiro, 29-28, right? So Bruno Lopes has fought some good guys. Knocked out Robocop back in the day. All these guys might be better than Medina. Azevedo, Paiva, Brigago, I would say he's better than Medina. This and even this bum that's in Contender Series, he's a wrestler, right? So I'll wrap it up. I don't think Magomed can wrestle Bruno Lopes as easy. If you watch a couple of these fights, I can't see it now. It's the Diaz one. Tons of wrestling for 3 rounds. And he just constantly gets up, works his way to the cage, digs underhooks. So, yeah, he might be at a speed disadvantage, as everyone says. But ultimately, I don't know how Magomed covers this line, man. As he starts to get slow, he hates pressure. Right, he hates pressure. I think Lopes hits hard. He's got some good boxing when he lets go. He's just very hittable in the pocket. That's his issue. But dog or pass for me, man. And this over, I'm considering this over, which is plus money. Isn't that crazy? If it correlates with Magomed,
I like the over better personally.
Yeah.
Just because Bruno seems less excited to engage after getting knocked out to Ribeiro in that last fight against the Jordan guy. And I genuinely think his chin is decent, and I don't really think Magomed's some dangerous finisher, so I kind of expect him to grind a little bit. And if he's not having grappling success with Bruno, I think it just ends up kind of being like a sloppy 205 grindy fight. I don't think Lopes is that dangerous of a finisher personally. It's taken him I think he kind of breaks these bums a little bit, and I know Magomed seems breakable, but he does seem like he's negative enough that in that Salem fight or Malem fight, he'll just kind of run away. So he's super negative when he gets tired. So I actually like the over personally because I think Magomed can grind a little bit, and also he's super negative when he gets tired. Seems like he's relatively durable too. And I don't think he's much of a finisher. So I like the over. I'd favor the over. It's just a little sketchy because it's a sloppy 205 fight, but I don't really rate either of these guys' finishing ability at all. I mean, Lopes, decent finisher, but I mean, even Brigago, it's almost taking this dude round 3 to get this guy out of there. And Brigago's not very good in my opinion either. He's a kickboxer. What's the over now? Like plus 135 on 40?
Well, it took some action on Bet365. It's horrible. It's plus 100.
Oh my god!
So I'm hoping that it hasn't taken action on Bet Online, but
don't worry. It's about to be 15 cents less after this.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was waiting for apparently plus 160 for the go the distance.
I'll have to do the percentages, but if I can get it over at 130, that's probably better just because of Magomed being kind of gassy.
I was waiting for the 1.5 because I'm like, wow, plus 160 on the 2.5. This is going to be a decent 1.5, but it's minus 200. And, a lot of Lopez's finishes are just over the 1.5 mark, right? Because he's kind of snowballs. Yeah. All right, let's move on. So, Kareckaite versus Caliari. This is a shit show fight for me, man. I thought it would be before I even taped it. I was like, there's got to be a lot of value on this chick, the underdog. And then I tape it, and I'm like, she's so bad. She's so bad. And then, which I thought before taping it, and hearing different people on YouTube that I kind of generally don't agree with, and some of them are like, Caliari's a good dog, and then the people that I usually agree with, they're like, yeah, this is a pass fight. I'm like, okay, but maybe I shouldn't have listened before I taped because they put that notion in my head. But yeah, massive advantage, man. 9 inches of reach, 5'9", the goat size, goat height, versus 5'3". That's just crazy. But I will say Caliari has a lot of physicality advantage over Kareckaite. But she also slows down. So I don't know, what, is she going to grapple for 3 rounds? Like, what's her path? A meme submission off her back? Kareckaite had a black belt in Barbosa on her back multiple times and showed that she has good submission defense. Yeah, this is a shit show of a fight. This is another underdog that it's hard to trust. And yeah, maybe just lie bet Kareckaite. Heavy, Ernesta, heavy-handed Kareckaite. What a funny nickname. Just a bunch of split decisions and decisions, absolutely no power. That's hilarious. What do you think?
It's for me, it's hard to bet a women's 125-pound fighter that has suspect cardio against somebody who's got really good cardio and that big of a size advantage. I get that Caliari can get on top, but it's like I've never even seen her like take anybody's back. She's just like getting guard subs, and that's pretty much it. And she's got like maybe a couple rear naked chokes on her record, but over bum. So if Barbosa's not submitting her, I highly doubt that I can see Caliari doing that. So yeah, Kareckaite for me. I mean, I maybe late KOs, maybe some late stuff if Caliari is that big of a gas bag. She looks like she could be. So yeah, that's tempting. But Kareckaite alive, maybe some late stuff.
Yeah, that's the issue. She was even this Carolina Jimenez, like she was losing that fight. But she's like 8-4 now. She's 40. I remember taping her for Contender Series. She was 40 and she was taking her down, and then she got the armbar out of nowhere. And then obviously she repeated that in the Contender Series. But she does have a rear naked choke before Contender, which I can't find. But that's the thing. Like she's not getting out of round 2, and she's slowing. And the last time she did that, it was round 3 against Kay Hansen, and she got guillotined.
Yeah, she got mauled by Hansen.
It was kind of back and forth, but yeah, she was mounted and stuff. But she showed me that
it was back and forth for a round.
Yeah, she wasn't like getting mounted and then flaking. She like reversed. It's all like very explosive explosions. All right, let's move on. I guess let me just look at that total because that's another one that I was contemplating. Another big total that's going to be a donation. Yeah, I mean big numbers, but yeah, I don't know.
What is that? What is that under?
The 1.5 is plus 290, and the 2.5 is 190.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if Ernesta's gonna do it, it's gonna be like the last minute of round 3 by exhaustion. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but if it's going to be Caliari, it's going to be like a sub 1 or 2. But I don't think she'll do it. If Barbosa couldn't do it, I don't think she'll do it. All right. Parsons versus Jacobe Smith. I take this one semi-in-depth because, some people are like, oh, this is the parlay piece or this is the straight play. And Jacobe Smith, I know this guy. I played his KO on Contender Series. Under 1.5 was a popular play. But it's tough with these wrestlers. They do ground and pound, like even with Parsons. Parsons seems to be a bit chinny. I always maintain that he's chinny. That's why I played Semmelsberger against him. But the absolute piece of shit couldn't get one knockdown against him. And, I mean, I don't really trust Jacobe Smith. He's going to wrestle. He's going to wrestle hard. He's got massive physicality and, wrestling advantage and the power advantage, possibly the chin, but we don't know. Everyone that he's knocked out in round 1 was just like bums, huge Fury FC bums. I noticed that when I was actually taping him for Contender Series. And then the other guy that he fought, Saviol, was also a bum, but he was kind of tough, and took him some ground and pound stoppage in round 2. So I don't know. I don't know how this plays out if Parsons just kind of is like reversing, not getting knocked out, taking down, but actually getting up. I don't know Jacobe Smith's jiu-jitsu level. Like Parsons, he's got arm bars from guards, he's got back takes. I don't rate him high, but, Jacobe on short notice as well, that every time that he's gone to a decision, his cardio is kind of like, I don't know. Like he forces grappling extremely, extremely hard. And I don't like that. It's like no pacing. So that's usually how these massive favorites lose their first fight. No pacing, and then eventually they gas out and they lose. So, but yeah, I'm leaning Jacobe Smith KO again, but haven't looked at the odds. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not playing Jacobe Smith money line or parlaying him. if I'm playing him, yeah, it's like it's his KO because I kind of agree with you. I think I can see Parsons getting rocked, or just there being a big physicality advantage for Smith, especially early. So yeah, maybe early. I feel like early KOs for Smith probably fine, just because he's super explosive early. And if Parsons kind of gets his game going, I can't really see Smith having a ton of success late. But you should be able to take him down whenever he wants. But like you said, if Parsons is able to get up because of the jiu-jitsu, I don't know what this fight looks like. So kind of leaning Parsons live maybe. But yeah, considering maybe like an under or like a doesn't go. But the line's probably going to be awful. So probably just probably just massive, just pass fight. I like Smith as an athlete, but I still have some questions, and I'm not a big Parsons fan. So
Yeah, there's a lot to be answered about Jacobe Smith. We just know
he looks like a beast.
Oh, he's an absolute freak of nature in terms of athleticism. The under 2.5, it's out. It's $1.76, which is what, like 65? No, like almost 50 something percent. I don't know.
Well, let me look.
14 cents away from Pick'em.
That, I mean, not bad. Because Smith's KO, I mean, I was thinking Smith KO would be like even money, so like another 2.5 is not bad.
Yeah, and a Smith KO could probably happen in like 5 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And then after that, you're kind of relying on Parsons to finish him, and he couldn't even do that to Giles or Semmelsberger, or just not the best fighters, really. Yeah, it's not a tough one, really. But speaking of tough ones, I'm going to look at some comments because we've been ignoring the boys, the lads.
Who cares?
Yeah, well, let's see if there's anyone I like in there first, and then I'll. Does Dudakova still have staph infection? I mean, arse infection, actually. Arse staph. She could. Who knows?
I'm a doctor.
1.5 over. Smith inside the distance. Smith KO round 1, but there's a lot of things here. All right.
Yeah.
Trey Ogden versus Thiago Moises. You take it away, my friend.
Oh man, they're gonna make me play Trey Ogden. I'm not a Thiago Moises fan, and I get why people like him. You know, he's a good all around fighter with decent jiu-jitsu, but his open mat wrestling, in my opinion, isn't really going to be enough to get Ogden on the mat. So maybe he can cage wrestle Ogden a little bit, but at striking range, like I actually think it's genuinely like a pretty close fight. I know people aren't a fan of Ogden, but he's active. He throws his jab and uses long punches, and Moises doesn't really close range very well. He kind of just stays at range and throws bombs, and yeah, that could be effective. But at kickboxing range, I actually don't mind Ogden because of his activity. But grappling wise, if Moises gets on top, I have big concerns for Ogden's get up game, because I haven't really seen too many get ups, at least at the UFC. Like Levitt took him down in round 3. He stayed on his back. When Loic got on top, he really didn't have too much of urgency to get up in that fight, especially when he got tired. So that's kind of my biggest concern if Moises gets on top here as this fight extends. But I kind of just grade this out to be a relatively close fight in most iterations, especially if Moises just isn't straight up mauling him on the mat. And I haven't really seen anybody just completely just destroy Ogden pillar to post in the grappling, because I think he's relatively decent, but it could just be like a levels difference once it gets there. But I just don't really think Moises has a ton of ways to get it to the mat in general. He just got like that jiu-jitsu outside trip, maybe a double leg along the cage, and that's pretty much it. And the guy just hates adversity. So I actually think Ogden, if there's adversity in the fight, I feel like Ogden's going to push through that a little bit more. So I like Ogden here. I don't know if I'm going to bet it because it's so slim margins for him and he doesn't really have a lot of finishing upside, but that's kind of his game in general. Probably like Ogden decision. I've seen some pretty decent numbers, maybe at like 250, maybe 300, maybe get a decent Ogden decision line. That's out. That's kind of how I'm leaning in terms of the value side for me.
I feel like this is a tough fight to get a read on, really. It's like they have the same game, similar game. They both want to grapple, but it's like the way Moises loses. Yes, he's been grappled before a bunch of times. You know, we've seen it all the way back with Benil Dariush and Islam. But you look at those names, it's like Benoit Saint Denis. These guys are like proactively really, really hard wrestle and grind. And Benil was like putting himself in guillotines and just like gritting it out. Gave him no room to breathe. Obviously, you know, Islam's Islam. but I just don't see Ogden. Ogden is more like running away, and then he hits a opportunistic double, and then he goes to mount, goes to back, and just wastes, lets the clock tick away. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that to Moises. Moises has shown that he can get out of the rear naked choke from Islam, and he goes for legs. He gets out of mount quite easily. So then he's just back on the feet, and then there's questions who's going to be winning minutes, because they're both. Yeah, Trey Ogden's good at winning minutes, but it's like a jab and a leg kick. Whereas Moises actually, when he lands something, it's significant. He's got a bit more power, a bit more physicality. I would say his wrestling's better too. I know you said you don't really rate his wrestling options, but I like his double when he gets under the hips, and he's more explosive. But then I looked into it some more because I'm like, I need to, I've got plenty of time for this first card. No excuses to not double, triple tape. Can you put your mic on mute? I think it's making noises. Yeah, cheers. And I looked at it again, and I was like, all right, no one really tries to take Trey Ogden down. And then I went wiki capped. I remember taping him, like, man, this guy's been submitted a lot. I was like, wait a minute, there's something here. 2 guillotines. Nick Brown ran through him with the rear naked choke. All these others I know from memory. He just runs through people. And then Jordan Levitt just struggled to get up when he slipped. And obviously just no one taking him down. And then Loic Razabana, round 3, he's on top, ends up on bottom, and just stays on bottom for the whole entire round. And I'm like, maybe this is why Moises is the favorite. Whoever pursues the wrestling first, I think Moises could look bigger fave, but I can't play Moises at minus 200, dude. It's such a... But, there's times when he covered. Giagos, Costa, Ramirez. Is Trey Ogden on that level? It's a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight. I agree with you. We can't play Ogden because such slim margins against the guy that will actually grapple him. Someone else on Twitter said he's only faced hasn't faced any takedowns, Trey Ogden. Like, fuck all takedowns. All right, let's move on. Where are we? Still not on the main card. Alrighty. Marcos Tulio, Matatuto, Ihor Potieria, the duelist. Right. 2 duelists going at it. Yeah. Everything in my body is saying it's time to donate on Potieria. Like, this line, let me check on Bet365. It's wild. I'm not saying I'm going to do it because, as I said, the story of this card is untrustworthy dogs. $5 now for Potieria, plus 400. What the fuck is that? Is that like 10%? Man, that's like, they're giving Potieria 10% at light heavyweight. The guy has power. He actually has nice striking. It's southpaw. He's very clean. He was landing on Cesar Almeida, right? He was landing on Robert Blisset, who's a real good boxer. He's a bit of a can from Octagon, but Rodolfo Bellato, obviously, he was lighting his ass up, and he showed good takedown defense too, on the back foot. So he's very slick. But this Tulio guy, he's just an ape. He's an ape, and he just makes shit happen by just throwing chaos. He wings that overhand right. He throws switch knees, spinning back kicks. Like, he doesn't set anything up, but he just gets KOs mainly because everyone in LFA that he's fought is a can. He's a Brazilian bum, and he's just run through him. And when he couldn't knock him out on the feet, he took him down, used his jiu-jitsu, but his wrestling's not the best. He's been knocked out himself cold once by another Brazilian regional guy who I Vicky Captain Bunch, not the best guy at all, right? And then in his rematch on Contender Series, Matheus Duclos, huge bum, as big of a bum as you could possibly get. And this Tulio guy could not get him out of there in under 1.5 when I was on a horrible streak. Takes him 5 seconds more. And it's like, man, this guy, I fucking hate this guy. I hate this guy so bad. So I'm considering the over, but it's just like losing money on the Tulio under by 5 seconds. And then I bet it another time, and he almost lost against another can in LFA. And now when I bet the over, he's just going to meme something in the under. I can feel it. And it's going to make me throw my TV out the window. But I like the over. The only reason I'm not playing it yet is because I think Potieria could actually knock him out in the under as well. But Potieria is quite durable. I know he's got a few knockout losses, against Oldberg, but, Oldberg, come on. And then Bellato was a cardio ground and pound, and obviously Nicolle was a cardio, against the cage, just onslaught. So Potieria apparently only has 10% chance to win this fight. And, the under is, or over 1.5 is pick'em. What do you think? What do you think about this fight?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I don't really think I can play anything on the Tulio side unless it's like his submission prop, just because, I mean, we haven't really seen Potieria on bottom enough, and I kind of have a feeling that he's a bit of a zero in the grappling. So there is a possibility if Tulio can kind of cook him a little bit, a submission opportunity opens up for him, especially as Potieria slows down. But yeah, on the money line side, I kind of see it as a dog or pass fight. I honestly don't mind Potieria, but just hard to trust him over 15 just because his cardio kind of sucks, and Tulio is kind of like a grindy Brazilian guy. So I lean with you on the over, but it's taken a ton of money. Like it opened up plus 120 or something crazy.
Oh, wow.
And everybody's been steaming the over, which is great. Thanks, guys. But I played Potieria's over in his last fight. So just like you getting cooked on these Tulio unders and totals in general, I played Potieria's over in his last fight. So I feel like if I take a worse price on this one on an over 1.5, he's going to get memed as well. So I'm kind of leaning with you. The GTB is huge too. I didn't even see that.
My only issue with GTD is Potieria slows down in every round 3.
I know.
And Tulio brings it on, like that's probably the one time. That's probably round 3 is probably when he will finally be able to hit a clean takedown. And then it's like, oh, here we go.
maybe it's Tulio. Maybe Tulio late stuff. Then it's probably good. That's kind of how I'm leaning. I'm thinking Tulio late or round 3 decision or something like that.
Yeah, like another live bet potentially, as Potieria is looking much more slicker early, and then slows down like usual. He doesn't like his wins are really bad. Like no resistance from that Brezik, and then just kind of got hurt himself in round 3. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna have to play the over, man. I'm gonna have to do it.
If it comes down to like pick 'em, I'll play. If it comes down to pick 'em, I'll play it because I favor it. But I don't want to play like minus 120s right now. I'm not really that interested. I'll take even money or like plus money. But
what I will say is, we pointed out about his ground game being a 0. I think you might be right, man, because I just reminded myself that he almost got guillotined by Cesar Almeida.
Yeah,
ended up on bottom mount. As soon as Bilardo took him down, it was a wrap. And there was something else I seen on the bottom. So it just seems to be a wrap pretty much when it's on the bottom. So
yeah. And Tulio's sub is like it's big. It's like plus. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything about it. Actually, I'm done.
Yeah, well, if it makes you feel any better, I think it's going to be ground and pound KO anyway. I think.
Okay,
I don't rate Tulio subs at all, but he throws a lot of ground and pound.
He's got a good arm triangle, and I feel like if that's like if Potieria is gassed, he's gonna give it up.
Yeah. It just sucks. It sucks because they're really tempting me with this 10% implied probability on old mate.
I mean, what's his ITD? Wouldn't you rather just take his ITD if it's like plus 700?
Nah, because he hasn't finished anyone good. Like I know Bilardo is chinny for a fact. Tulio, I've got questions, so I don't want to donate because he's capable of winning a decision, old mate. I think he's improving. I think his cardio is improving too. So, I think Potieria is just improving in the UFC. Like he's only 27, man. Like he's taking his career more seriously.
Yeah.
All right. This fight, Jose Johnson, Felipe Bunez. I taped a little bit of Bunez. I was telling everyone, no way, Jose Johnson should be this price. This is not Chad Allenhanger. Alhanger, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Allinger. Fucking who knows. And this Bunez is much better, man. He's been in ACA. He's dropping good Russian guys over there, submitting him, buggy choking him, and knocked out Yuri in LFA. The only issue is his cardio. So as soon as I kind of reminded myself of the cardio, I just kind of moved on. And this is the one where the public kind of seems to agree. Finally, a little bit of money on Bunez coming in, but I haven't circled back around to it. I know both of them well. I've taped those ACA fights of Bunez so much. But even that fight in LFA, it went to split with like a really old Puerto Rican or whatever he was. It's kind of like, even though he clearly won that 29-28, it's just
doesn't do anything on top. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Slim margins with the cardio. But yeah, Jose Johnson, super hittable, super easy to take down. Yeah, I can't really be playing this minus 200. If anything, I'll just live bet him because he's got great cardio and Bunez doesn't. So the under is kind of tempting me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not. I get why people are betting on Bunes, but 35, 36-year-old flyweight with suspect cardio at such a big size and reach disadvantage with, not really something I'm interested in. So it was Johnson or pass, but then he doesn't really have any takedown defense. So the fight just becomes a pass entirely for me. So I don't even know what Bunes. I mean, Bunes is a nice submission game, but I don't really see it. I don't think he's like a back taker either. I think he's like a arm bar guy. He's got a bunch of arm bars on his record. His jiu-jitsu is pretty good on top, but mostly just control. Like you said, he's not like damaging from the top. He's just like a good jiu-jitsu grappler, good at controlling position. So, I mean, we could see like a Bunes top time clinic because his cardio is not bad. His cardio is not good, but I don't know. I think it's not too bad. But with Jose's cardio, Jose doesn't really slow down much, so I can't really decide what to think about this fight. To be honest, it's like an all-around pass.
Yeah, there's a few of them on this card. Honestly, there's a few of them. But now we get into the main card, right? And sick fight. And say what you will about betting on this card, first card of the year. At least we have some good fights, not including the main event. But yeah, this is a great fight. Polano Soriano versus Medic. They're sending Soriano out there to kill all the Serbian prospects, after Duško Todorovic. And, I hate the guy, very inconsistent. I still regret to this day not betting him against Baeza, mainly because I've been fading Baeza in every single fight. And he was a huge underdog, and he felt like a recency bias. And I feel like people are just taking that fight too much into consideration. Baeza's never had any heart or any durability or a chin whatsoever. And it was really easy for Soriano to have his way. And he was just focusing on getting heel hooks on Soriano. And once he couldn't get a heel hook, he couldn't get it. And now people think he's going to wrestle to a decision over Medic, who stood up 11 times versus Oralby. Like, say what you will. I think him saying that he wasn't prepared for a wrestler on short notice, and then he still stood up 11 times when he was preparing for a strike. Like, good luck, man. Like, I don't think Soriano is going to be able to control him. I don't think Soriano has any jiu-jitsu. Obviously, Oralby rear naked choked him. Yeah, it's like, what's going to happen here? Like, Soriano's going to wrestle him. Again, I'm still not saying minus 200 is ton value against someone like Soriano. I would rather play minus 200 against a washed, chinny Tim Means, But I'm kind of leaning. It's a volatile fight, but I'm kind of leaning Medic, maybe Medic KO, and yeah, just being a square. What do you think?
I'm not a Punahele Soriano guy. I mean, I bet against him a ton. Guys that don't have cardio and not a really like well-rounded game. To be honest, like I'm not super interested. I get the guy's a wrestler, but he's like a D3 wrestler. I don't really see a ton of jiu-jitsu either. Like he's just fine. Maximov, people reference like the Maximov fight for his defensive wrestling, but like Maximov has zero jiu-jitsu and he's kind of just a jobber. So, and I'm pretty sure he tore his ACL in that fight and still won a decision. So leave that with what you will. Not a huge fan of the guy. I mean, I think the line is, I was hoping it would come in, but it keeps bouncing back every single time before I get to touch anything. So yeah, I would have liked like 175-ish. 185 probably would have been a bet for me, but I kind of waited a little bit too long. I think minus 225, 250 is trending towards accurate because I've never seen Puna wrestle anybody with any resistance in his entire career. And until I see that, I'm not going to believe it can happen. This guy's not world by. I don't really care that he's coming down from middleweight into welterweight because the skill level is a big difference as well. Middleweight's like the meme division, and he hasn't really beaten anybody.
Yeah, I will say that the striking gap is ginormous. It's absolutely ginormous. The guy can't do anything other than load up on the one.
On the left hand.
He was dropped by
Dustin Stoltzfus, the GOAT.
Came up. Leave me alone, lady. I'm busy. He was dropped by Dustin Stoltzfus of all people, man. Like, yes, the GOAT. Yeah, just inconsistent. Another inconsistent guy. But I will say he probably has a chance to chin Medic. I know people used to think Medic was like this biggest flake and bum because he came from Alaska. Dude, he moved from Serbia to Alaska so he can pump up his record. And he used to fight at middleweight. And then he dropped down to lightweight. So he's not an Alaskan born and bred guy. And then he went to, obviously, America. But he can knock out Soriano in any round. You know, he's proved that he can be patient. Round 2 over Morales, who I thought was very durable. Round 3 over Semmelsberger. Like, he showed that he has cardio and that he can make adjustments and just so much more levels of striking. And if Oralbai wasn't built like freaking caveman, he probably would have knocked him out in round 1 too. That's like the one guy that it looked like he really hurt Oralbai. Obviously, up to that last fight, he got beat by the GOAT. But yeah, totals, I guess. Totals, the reason I don't like the total is because Medic is quite patient. But yeah, I feel like I might have to be a square by the end of this on that fight.
Just play Medic KO and leave it.
Yeah. Do we have odds for that on BetOnline? Probably.
I think it's like plus 180, 150 maybe.
Well, that's really generous.
I don't think that's bad at all. I'm seeing
he's never ever won a decision in his life, like ever.
I'm seeing some plus one. I see plus 135, some 150s out there.
And he was knocked out to the body by Kapilov, and yeah, Medic spams that kick. Spams bad. All right. Speaking of being a square, all right, my first and only play on the card: Austin Bashi versus Christian Rodriguez, minus 230, whatever it was, $1.45. Basically, I just didn't want to overthink it. I've been mulling it over for ages, and I felt like if I keep waiting, this line is going to move. And I just went into deep tape and essentially realized that Bashi has good cardio. He has fine striking. He just doesn't need to use it because no one's really stopped his wrestling before. He's got some decent wins on the regionals. He's not a round 1 merchant or round 1.5 merchant like Rosas, and he's not a one-dimensional wrestler like Bulgarian that's never been out of round 1. So yeah, I think this kid's very smart. Yeah, he's very switched on. I watched his 5-round fight, and he went for 5 rounds just constantly grappling. He struck a bit, struck on the back foot, landed a step-in knee when the guy went for a takedown, landed a head kick, landed an overhand right. So he's explosive. And yeah, in round 5, he actually, Old Mate hit him with a reversal that Christian Rodriguez would kind of hit, you know, and he ended up on bottom mount. Spent about half a second there, just straight away got out of mount, exploded. And I was like, wow, this kid's good, man. This kid is not going to settle on bottom. You see all round 3s against Rosas Jr. and Bulgarian, you know, they're cooked. They're absolutely gassed. And that's how Christian Rodriguez is winning, right? So I think this could be competitive all the way throughout. Worst case, my bet doesn't have any value, and Bashi kind of wins like a competitive 3-round decision where he's just constantly grinding, and Christian lands a few strikes and stuffs him, and looks like the dog was the side, but you know, it just ends up being a split. But yeah, I think Bashi is really good, man. And you know, Christian Rodriguez up at featherweight is not having a huge size advantage like he usually does when he misses weight and comes in heavy. But I have a sneaky suspicion that he misses weight here again. I just that feeling that I have. Just yeah, we'll see. I'm probably wrong, but what do you think? I thought about Bashi's decision, but I think his live for a rear naked choke. You know, I know he has good submission defense, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think Rodriguez has good submission defense. So I'm kind of leaning GTD. But yeah, Bashi's really good. I don't want to rate him like as a finisher yet for finishing Dorian Ramos. The Askar finish was pretty good, like a slick back take, but Rodriguez gets his back taken all the time. So I feel like that's a position he's very comfortable in. It would surprise me if he got finished by a rear naked choke, but Bashi does have a good one. So yeah, I understand the line. I get why Bashi's leaning up to 75% because Rodriguez's path to victory is kind of just like outlasting. And to be honest with you, like I don't think his cardio is that great either. He slows down in a lot of his fights too. Like I was expecting him when I went into tape him being some like cardio monster, but he really, in my opinion, is not. He just outlasts guys who, you know, he can outlast. So yeah, I think Bashi has a lot of advantages here. Outside of like the fluidity and the striking, I think that's the only, you know, he's not a very fluid striker. His striking is fine, but he is quite stiff. But that's about it. I think I give Bashi like the power advantage, the athleticism advantage, the cardio advantage, the grappling advantage. Like I give him a lot of advantages outside of like striking fluidity and experience. And I think he's a prospect to be on the worry for, but I just don't want to pay minus whatever, trending up to minus 300 now. Kind of leaning towards 75% being accurate. I don't really think C-Rod's got a huge path to victory outside of like a close decision.
Yeah, Yeah, and I don't think he's getting one of his patented front headlock chokes.
The Darce or whatever he gets an anaconda.
Yeah.
He's got a good anaconda.
He can mix them up. I will say Bashi is actually from a jiu-jitsu standpoint. He's better. He has better accolades than Rosas. Rosas is just a Mexican kid that's like a great wrestler. But like Bashi is actually a nogi. I think he's a nogi champion or some crap like that. But Glimbot, this is the public perception, mate, which I don't agree at all. It will come down to round 2 because Bashi wins 1 and C-Rod wins round 3. I mean, this is not Raul Rosas Jr., mate. This is not just because it's a grappler doesn't mean every single C-Rod fight. Did C-Rod win round 3 against Pierce? No, he didn't, because he actually has cardio. This. Who knows? I honestly think C-Rod can win any round. He can win round 1, round 2, round 3, and Bashi could win any round. It could be 30-27. It could be 29-28. The only thing I don't think he will be is a 30-27 for C-Rod because he's so slim margins, All right, let's move on. The go distance is minus 200. No, thank you. That's horrible. All right, Chris Curtis, Roman Kopylov. I know you're a Chris Curtis believer, so I'll let you take it away.
I hate Chris Curtis. I hate the guy.
That's a trick question. Who doesn't hate Chris Curtis?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like he actually seems like really like cool. Like I watched some of his interviews and he just seems like a pretty down to earth guy, but then sometimes he's talking about stuff and I'm like, "No, Chris, please stop." I don't want to listen to you complain on Twitter because he seems like a cool guy. But at the same time, like for this matchup in particularly, speaking about the fight, like I think that Kopylov minus 250 in a striking fight to Chris Curtis just seems kind of silly. He's not going to be able to grapple Curtis, and he's going to have to do it for 15 minutes, in my opinion. Like I could see him maybe knocking out Curtis just because of the speed. With Curtis kind of getting up there in age and he's looking kind of slow at times, but I think this is a pretty good matchup for him if Curtis can survive some of the early speed and the timing. But yeah, I just at the end of the day, like I think Kopylov hasn't really fought any good strikers. Many good strikers either. I mean, the best striker he's fought, who is Jachirko maybe, like. He's knocked out a bunch of jobber strikers like Fremd, Claudio Ribeiro, Punahele Soriano. I mean, who's the best striker this guy's fought? Let's be real.
Carl Robertson.
Yeah, and Carl Roberson was not even like a top 10 guy in glory, and he absolutely styled on him. So, yeah, at the end of the day, like it's got to be Curtis for me. I think it's pretty easy. I don't really rate Kopylov striking that much because, like I said, I haven't really seen him style on a good striker, and that's what this line is implying that he's going to do for 15 minutes, and I don't see it.
Wait. We completely forgot about Cesar Almeida, who we dropped in round 1.
I mean, yeah. Cesar
that is a world-class striker right there. That is a world-class striker.
Yeah, sure.
Come on, man. It was top 3 in glory at one point.
At what weight class?
Light heavyweight, I think, or whatever it was.
I mean, yeah, that was a long time ago, but
true. But he hasn't forgot how to strike. Let's be honest.
No, but that's round 1 Kopylov. I mean, he's really good in round 1. Then it's a fifth. Unless he's knocking out Kopylov, do you want to? Or unless he's rocking out Curtis in round 1, I don't really think this price is right. Yeah. Unless he's knocking him out in round 1, this price is not right. So that's kind of how I'm leaning. And yeah, sure, he dropped Almeida with a straight left. And that was about the majority of the striking success he had in that fight. So,
yeah. Look, I don't disagree. I see the same things everyone does with Kopylov. I remember him getting hurt by Ribeiro with the overhand right. I remember him eating overhands from Puna and overhands from Hernandez Fluffy, who I bet there. And some big overhands by Cesar Almeida as well. And I played Almeida plus money there. And, it was a split, but obviously he lost because of the takedowns. But when Almeida was pressuring him and striking him, he looked to absolutely hate it. But then it's also levels. Like Almeida was landing teeps and head kicks and leg kicks. And Curtis is just going to come at him like an idiot with a Philly shell, looking through his guard and just eating body kicks as he's trying to, lunge in with hooks to the body. And that's, it's a hard guy to back. But he's an underdog here, so I backed him against Ihor of all people, and I just thought he could break him, or maybe 2-3. But I think Kopylov might be an easier matchup. But I do think he's more dangerous. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. It's another dog that I'm not rushing. Like, I'm gonna leave it because I think round 1 and even round 2, Kopylov could look just amazing, right? Because this Curtis is whatever, man. Like, he's a punching bag. But I'll leave it for now. I'll leave it. A lot of people think go the distance. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. But
the goes the distance is like minus.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's like minus 200.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, Curtis can knock him out. Kopylov can knock him out to the body. Like, he just spams the body so hard. So the Chirico is very durable, knocked him out as well. So yeah, no, it's not for me. Alrighty. But I guess, that's people picking winners, which probably will be a winner. Here we go. Speaking of Cesar Almeida, we got Abdullah Al-Razak Hassan, another one where the dog's going to have some value. Like, Cesar Almeida just has, he's a white belt, let's be honest. And Al-Hassan at middleweight, he's looked good. Obviously got rinsed by Malkoon. I thought he was very unlucky not to win the Buckley fight, man. Watching it for the 17th time today. Really close round 1 on the feet. Obviously, Buckley didn't land anything good. Landed a couple of takedowns. Razak got up straight away. And then near the end of the round, Razak unloaded against the cage, and the commentator was like, that's a good combination. And that's it. So that was a split round. That's why I went to split. Round 2, clear Buckley. Round 3, clear Al-Hassan. Grappled them and rinsed them on the ground. So very unlucky not to win that. And then, you give him the Brundage fight. He's 1-4. 1 loss, 4 wins at middleweight. So, yeah. But then, again, he always gets grappled. Almeida's not going to grapple him. But then on the feet, Almeida is a world-class striker. He can switch stances. He's got the minute winning upside. He throws like kicks, a lot of leg kicks. Al-Hassan doesn't check him. Al-Hassan only stands out when he leg kicks people himself. But am I going to assume that Cesar Almeida can't check a leg kick? Like a glory kickboxer. I've seen him check kicks, and he switches stances. So it's like, yeah, the dog has value. He's got the grappling upside, but I don't trust Abdul Razak to have 15 minutes decision equity. So it's just another one of those dogs. Maybe another live bet on Almeida. But Almeida slows down in round 3 too. Maybe we'll just wait and see how the fight is going. And, we trick the bookies who think that Razak is going to slow down in round 3. And then we jump on it. But what do you think? You're going to say they're over 1.5, aren't you?
I'm thinking like an over 2.5. Or like a GTD.
Well, my friend played Almeida decision last time over Potieria, which was good.
But yeah, I played the overs. I played the over there.
What about Hassan decision? $11.
It's $11.
Yeah, whatever that is, plus 1,000, plus 11,000.
Where the hell is that at?
Bet 365.
It's pretty damn good if you ask me.
Like, if we all think it's going over and the dog has some value, like, surely you sprinkle a little decision on Al-Hassan.
That's, yeah. Just
because he should have won a decision against Buckley, and look at Buckley now.
Yeah, Cesar's super durable too.
That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think because Buckley isn't as durable, I think he was a little bit scared of the punches. Almeida won't be, so then he's going to be in the pocket, and maybe you run the risk of Hassan getting knocked out because he also has no striking defense.
Yeah, he just stands there with the high guard. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think this fight's like a mess personally. Like, I wish Hassan had some head movement or some more striking defense, but with Cesar in front of him, he puts on a pretty good pace for 15, but he's a white belt, so it's like I can't bet him as a favorite. But yeah, like Hassan decision kind of seems like a poke that you probably want to make. So considering he can wrestle, so kind of that's how I'm seeing it. But it'll probably just be a pass fight until like 5 minutes before, and I put like $20 or $25 on Hassan decision just to watch it. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do it just so I don't regret it, because $11, you don't need to donate much.
No.
And then 1-1 into the third, you'll be like, come on.
Please let me live bet Hassan.
And then the Almeida live bet is going to be so much easier when you have Al Hassan decision hedge already, the $50. Yeah. All right, here we go. The real main event of this card, Ponzinibbio versus Harris. So little story. I wanted to bet Harris at chalk, like in 2024. I was like, he's going to knock out Ponzinibbio out, the most chinniest wash guy in the division. And then I taped one fight, and I'm like, nah. Ponzinibbio is still quite fast, a lot more volume. Harris with that striking defense, like, nah, can't do it. This is a shit show. And yeah, then it just, thank God I didn't, because I went up to pick him. And now Ponzinibbio is a favorite. And I go and tape in depth, taping Harris, and I'm like, no, man, this guy is a lot less washed. He's more durable, more power. He's going to knock out Ponzinibbio. Then I go back to the other tape, and I'm like, man, I can't do it. Ponzinibbio will still throw. He'll still fight for my money if he doesn't get knocked out. And it's just, yeah, I'm stuck at passing on this fight to pick him. But, yeah. Even the under, the same thing. Pick him for the under. I know you like it. Some others like it. I bet the under in Ponzinibbio versus freaking Salikov and pulled my hair out. It wasn't even close. There was a couple of, like, getting hurt, both of them. But I think Ponzinibbio's lost his power, man. Like, honestly, like, he used to be a guy that would run through people like Strickland and everyone. And then he just comes back and, Baez's chinny couldn't really hurt him. Like, everyone's, Salikov's chinny, like, all these guys, he doesn't really seem to have the same power. Sure, he knocked out Moreno, which came out of nowhere. But, yeah, he's not the same guy that used to hit as hard as he used to. So I still lean Harris, personally, but haven't locked anything in.
Yeah. I was leaning the under, but by the time limits opened up, all the plus money was gone, and it was like minus 125. So I don't care anymore. It's like minus 140, 150 in some spots. So I'm over it. Maybe like a under 1.5 if I was gonna bet anything, because like both of these guys, I don't really. I mean, a lot of their finishes are coming early, and if Harris is getting finished, he's getting kind of ran through. And Harris also seems like he has a lot of early finish equity. So yeah. I wouldn't mind like a really big under 1.5 if I can get something like if I can get like an under 1.5 that's kind of juicy, I'd be interested, because Harris is really hittable, man. He doesn't really move his head, and I think he's kind of chinny too. The thing with a couple of the Ponzinibbio, not finishing, Salikov has pretty good footwork. Michel Pereira's pretty durable, He's fought some other pretty durable guys too. And Moreno's just kind of like hard to hit, especially early in fights. Harris is there to be hit, and he'll just kind of swing down too, especially if he can't land takedowns. So, yeah, I think the under is probably good. Pons can get clipped with that left hook. Harris does that stupid right hand a lot, but his left hook's pretty good. I mean, I can see him catching Ponzinibbio with that too, because he doesn't have any defense either. Kind of expect these guys to like swing down in the pocket early if Harris can't get takedowns.
Harris always catches and returns. Like, he's happy to eat one and throw back. And then he tried that with Chaos Williams, which is the stupidest game plan I've ever seen. But
yeah, they threw the same right hand at the same time.
You're not winning that battle, dude. You're not winning that battle against Chaos Williams.
You're going to sleep.
It just shows me that he can't adjust. Like, he's always going to fight like that. But he hurt everyone, man. He hurt Gooden. He hurt Aguilera. He hurts a lot of these guys before he subs them. It's a club and sub. Knocked out Impa. So that's why I'm leaning. I think he is the more dangerous fighter.
Yeah, it's all early too.
Yeah, because he just comes out swinging straight away. Like, there's no feeling out process. So whereas Ponzinibbio he warms up to it, comes on late, rounds 2 and 3, as he's beaten and bloody. Getting knocked down twice by Moreno, then it just comes back and wins. His cardio is still elite for a 38-year-old. But yeah, Harris will pass for me. All right, main event. I'll let you take it away, mate. For some, this is the third rematch in a row. Ryzen, Octagon, and now we got Dern versus Ribas 2. In Octagon and in Ryzen, the favorite and the person that won the first match has won. So do you think Ribas will win her rematch again as a favorite?
Yeah.
The book is public interest.
I think she ends up winning. It's hard for, like, I get Dern has improved a lot from the first matchup, but I kind of just trust Ribas to. She's somewhat hard to take down, but the issue is, like, she doesn't defend wrestling that well. Like, Verna, every single time Verna got her hands wrapped around her legs or under her butt, she was going for a ride, and that's what Dern's, a reactive double leg actually isn't that bad at all. So I could see her getting, some reactive double leg takedowns and then Ribas not getting up. So I can't touch the money line. Like, I do think she wins, but I can see it being like a relatively back and forth fight. But Ribas just has a ton of volume, a lot of cardio. And she's pretty good on top herself when she gets there. And I feel like Dern's more likely to accept bottom. She'll just kind of flop over sometimes and just play off of her back. And I don't really see her subbing Ribas. So I kind of trust Ribas to be the one to get on top just because she's not as difficult to take down. Or she's more difficult to take down. And then striking wise, I think Ribas maybe slight volume edge, but man, she's just so damn hittable. Like she's just there to be cracked. And I think Dern's striking's improved a lot. Like even physically, like you watch that first fight and it's like Dern physically doesn't even look like the same fighter anymore. Like she looks like a mom in that fight. And now she looks like a real professional athlete. So like, I think Dern continuously keeps improving and improving and improving. So it's hard for me to want to bet Ribas when I think this fight could look a lot differently. I'd probably line Ribas like just a slight favorite because of just the her being a little bit more difficult to get to the ground, but like maybe 50, maybe slight favorite like minus 125, plus 100 on Dern. So the line's definitely wide. Another spot that I'm thinking about betting, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I'm waiting for some money to come in late, hopefully.
Yeah, I agree with everything, man. I taped it because the line did not feel accurate at all. Dern is completely different just for the fragility of Ribas alone. And, Dern has more power, et cetera, and she's much better now. She's beating some good fighters. I think Ribas is not really progressed. She's where she is. She's not a title challenger or anything, and neither is Dern. So they're just right there, one under. But yeah, the fact that it's a 5-rounder, I couldn't lock anything in because Dern always, around round 3, just completely becomes a bit more sloppy and things fall apart. Other than her fight with who was a black chick? I forgot her name.
Angela Hill, yeah.
Yeah, other than her, because Angela Hill just seemed to be concussed at that point. So, but we better even against Loopy, and that was a good play. I wish we went bigger, but round 2, 3, it's just like
I went plenty big for McKenzie.
Yeah, you went big. Yeah. She just kept eating the left check hook, and it's like she can't make adjustments. And Ribas has a good check hook, so I feel like if there's no knockdown or anything by round, even if Dern takes it down with like a judo throw, by the time he gets to like 4 or 5, Ribas is going to be like dancing around, and her cardio is elite, and she doesn't become sloppy. She kind of comes into the fight and closes well, whereas Dern has early success and then just always becomes sloppy in every 5-rounder. And she's had favorable matchups. Like she really should have beat Marina Rodriguez in a 5-rounder, and maybe even Jan. She should have beat Jan, and she had a lot of top time there because every other time she's on the feet, she's getting like dropped and hurt. And so it's just the whole volatility, sloppiness aspect with Dern. Again, Loopy is like so easy to cap, but Ribas is just a bit more. IQ is a bit better, a bit more levels. Again, another live bet where if I'm going to bet Ribas minus 200, forget it. I would rather just live better. So yeah, that's just another one of those, man. Another one of those.
Yeah, hopefully she gets like dropped and taken down early. You know what I mean? You get like plus money on Ribas because her cardio is insane actually, and her output, which is something that I don't think Dern can keep up with.
No, and her striking is underrated too. Her power as well. Yes, Dern was just after a baby, but she also didn't have the traps that she has now. It's just a completely different fighter. And Ribas was good like as soon as she came into the UFC. All right, so we didn't go anywhere near 40 minutes as predicted, but I'll go over my thing. Obviously, I only have one bet. I couldn't really pick up if you have any bets, but you can tell me after this. Solecki, Aliev, I got to look into it some more. Kline, I'm thinking maybe Kline inside the distance. Lopes, this is one where I like both the over and Lopes. I'll have to finalize that one. Caliari, Kareckaite, probably a live bet. Jacobe Smith, I'm going to look into some of his KO lines. The under 2.5, I think me and you both kind of thought it was not too bad. You don't mind Trey Ogden, I'm passing. Potieria, $5. Might get $50 out of me. And the over as well. Bunez, yeah, whatever, pass. Uroš Medic, this is the one that I'm tempting on the chalky boy. Bashi, I've already played 3 units. I should probably reduce. Chris Curtis, Coppola, no idea. No idea on Almeida. Harris will pass. Yeah, Dern will pass. Maybe just live bet. But yeah, someone asked me, let me have a look. Someone asked me, riding high, can we cook up a multi for me? A safe 2-leg parlay. Now, I love, yeah, I know, right? I love me some safe 2-leg parlays. Sometimes 3 if it's rising and they're $1.10, $1.15. But I don't think this is the card for it. The general consensus is that Aliev and Smith is the 2 safe leg parlay. I know a bunch of people are already on it. I just can't do it. I can't give you that if I don't feel the same way. What I will say is, I got Bashi, but I would not parlay him either. It doesn't feel like a parlay smash spot. I will say I'm considering Medic a lot, so maybe that's one. I just don't know what else to give you, man. I think Kline should win. Kline is safe-ish, but it's just disgusting. Just disgusting to give you. I don't like my parlays being like that, $1.10.
Oh, Kareckaite. The Kareckaite parlay leg.
Yeah. I don't like it being $1.10 unless it's like Shabulaev versus a 37-year-old glory kickboxer. You know what I mean? Like unless it's a squash. So yeah. Sorry, dude. Probably Medic or Kline. That's probably as close as we get to a squash. I think Dudakova is kind of drawing thin there. Even if she does well, she'll probably gas at some point. Yeah, there you go. That's $1.60. That's like what, 70%. Smash that. That's safe. Here we go. Paul Blah. Smith and Kline was minus 210 a few days ago. It was safe then. Look at. Not worried about it. Yeah, I mean, if you got on early, but I didn't get on early.
I don't know if I'm playing. I don't know if I'm ready to parlay Jacobe Smith personally.
No. Maybe parlay is KO.
You can just play his KO straight. It's probably even money.
Yeah, it would be better than that, I reckon. All right, you got anything to add, my friend? Anything worthy to the listeners?
I mean, so far, I think I like the Lopes and Gadzhiyasulov over. That's one thing I'm probably going to put my money on. Like, I was leaning Lopes earlier, but the dude's too slow and lumbering for me to put any money on him personally. And I think Gadzhiyasulov's got an okay chin. He's just flaky, and I think he's more likely to just run away and disengage from a fight than actually like put himself in the fire. So I kind of like that over. The more I looked into it, I was leaning Lopes early, but I don't know if I could do Lopes in the over. That just sounds like a recipe for disaster. As he gets like spinning wheel cooked or some dumb shit. And then Curtis, tempting. And then maybe the Alisson and Almeida over, or even Cesar decision possibly.
Back to the well. Back to the well after Potieria decision.
Well, what's the over 2? Whoa! The over 1.5 is minus 155. What?
Yeah, I said you would like that.
Wait, what?
But I just can't play a chalky over in a fight with Razak and Almeida.
No, I'd honestly rather play like a plus money over 2.5 or like a G2D than
yeah, because the finishing upside is probably going to be front loaded like early.
Yeah,
so might as well go all the way to 2.5.
Yeah, exactly. And Almeida decisions plus 200, so I'd much rather, or at least that's what I'm saying. I'd much rather play like a plus 160 G2D. Yeah, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. So, oh yeah, and Medic too. I like Medic, but I need some money to come in on Punahele. I missed the 185. I would have taken 185 on Medic, but I missed that. So, just so far the over on Lopes, Medic, Curtis. I'm gonna probably end up betting Curtis. So those three are sticking out to me right now the most.
All right, that'll do. Thanks, boss. What I will say is I'm going to try my best to do my first ever Fury FC breakdown this week. Is that I'm going to do it. That's 3 title fights. I know all the fighters. I actually enjoy taping it way more than LFA. So bear with me, lads. Maybe tomorrow we'll see. But I'm making some money on Fury. There's no money to be made in UFC, so I want to make some money on Fury. Other than that, like and subscribe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 MMA guy on Twitter, and Big Steve MMA. Peace out.